Hello, my name is Rajat Panwar.
And I'm Eric Hansen. Our topic here is material choice, a new frontier in corporate sustainability. And this frontier aspect suggests that there must be some history that we should talk about first. Dr. Panwar?
Taking a historical perspective of evolution of sustainability, it could be easily divided into three phases. First, up until 1960s, 70s, or 80s, the focus was on eco-efficiency. That means improve the processes to make them environmentally more benign. The second phase lasted up until, you would say, 1980s from 2010, and it was the era of product innovation, making products that are environmentally friendlier. But because of the enormity of the environmental problems, it was very evident that these two approaches are not enough, and we need to enact economy-wide changes, such as the ones that we have seen through bioeconomy or another concept such as circular economy. The essence of the economy-wide changes come down to what kind of materials are our basic inputs for industrial processes. So the sustainability question then becomes the question of material choice.
And this all fits into this whole bioeconomy concept. And it wasn't probably only a decade ago that people wouldn't even have known this term, but it's become really the buzzword. And I can remember being in Finland a couple of years ago and people joking about that it's no longer the bioeconomy, it's the circular bioeconomy. So things change fast. But it's really common among researchers, but what's happening with respect to the real world? And so this is an example from the World Council on Sustainable Development, a guide that they're giving for how do companies operate in the circular bioeconomy. So it's clearly something that is hitting mainstream. And what does that all mean for the wood science community? Well, if we think about some of the circular economy principles, some of the things that we've been doing basically forever that wood sciences exist, durability and renewability, have been really common. And then reducing material use as well. But the circular bioeconomy means that there's got to be a lot more to the puzzle than just those traditional things that wood scientists have focused on. So how do we become more circular minded? Dr. Panwar, how do we do that?
Yeah, sure. In order to be more circular minded, first of all, we need to continue to do the traditional, and I would say even reinforce them further. For example, durability and reduced material use and all that need to be continued. The second is improvements in our life cycle approaches. And what that essentially means is that we as wood scientists and wood engineers tend to protect the environmental superiority of wood kind of claims a little too tightly. We need to develop consequential life cycle assessment approaches so that it is clear to us that what are the life cycle assessment implications from forest floor to the end of life. We need more data and more science so that we have clarity on whether our assumptions hold value on the ground. And the third thing is that these contingencies need to be provided so that our claims are not as generalized and blanket statements as they currently seem to be.
So we're definitely not trying to provide a comprehensive list here, but another area where we could focus is design for environment, disassembly, and longevity. And that becomes really complex with modern wood products because of the composite systems that they're usually in place. So keeping renewable materials renewable, avoiding toxics, and thinking about how you're designing something, how you're putting it together so that someday it can be taken apart more easily. We also need to think about the unintended consequences. So beware of what we're wishing for here, essentially. So the whole idea here is making wood a more attractive material so that it can be used for a wider host of industries. But as that happens and competition for fiber goes up, that means that traditional forest industries may have a trouble competing, and in turn that has economic sustainability implications. And with that, we will turn it over to the questions period.